laughter, joy, arguments, you name it. It's a combination of everything. It's VAR Zambia. Yet again, welcome to today's edition. I'm your host, John Mark Lukonde, acknowledging you and each and everyone who's coming through. The soccer fans, hey, there's so much to dive into. I am not alone to dissect what has been taking place in the world of football. I'm joined by Teresa. Hi, and welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Considering what happened last night, which we'll get into.
Tears,
Guang, guang, guang.
tears. Please, I can't believe you started on that note. Now Chips is going to be on us the whole show.
The entire time I was thinking about Chips, I was like, Dwala Chimonalelo. The entire time I was mortified. I was like, Chips is going to have a field day.
I feel like we need to have a rule. Like today, not talking about like that game.
Yeah.
No mentioning teams. Chips, no mentioning teams.
On a solemn note.
You're going to begin on a solemn note.
Yeah, we're on the same boat. Because also my beloved Barcelona, I was sure, man.
I forgot.
I felt so
So
good
no
about
wonder you're
it.
so calm today.
He's calm?
I was wondering.
No, but you're still the chief bridesmaid. No, because us at least we've got the Copa del Rey to show for our efforts this season. What does us not have? Nchimunya Cup.
You know, I was actually going to say the community shield. Then I remember that wasn't this season.
You can't even win the community shield. But it's all of us say no.
But we won the Emirates Cup.
When? Which year?
Pre-season.
Yeah. The Emirates Cup is sponsored by your own sponsors. And you expect to lose.
Sponsored by you. Anyway, there's so much to dive into. Apart from that as well, we'll be able to.
My ticket young as your mouth and a bet lie on Gatsuzi.
My bed line.
Every
Okay,
time.
but Kambache is on. Did you manage to get it right this time? Because to be honest with you, the Barca one, no one, very few saw Barcelona at least coming down to Inter Milan.
Well, actually, technically we did lose if you follow the betting rules, because the betting rules says they only follow the result in 90 minutes, and in 90 minutes it was 3-3. But for us, no, they lost even in 90 minutes.
So either way, those who engage Betline, it's a win-win, right?
It is, I guess.
Yeah.
You guessed it. VAR Zambia, sponsored by or powered by BetLion. Kudos to BetLion as well. We've got so much to talk about today, and of course, our topic being very, very interesting as well. How deep is match fixing in Zambia? That for me is a screaming headline. And
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I literally said pre-production, remember?
Yeah.
This is very interesting and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And apart from that, we're also diving into what we talked about as well as the ABSA Cup final as well. So there's so much to dive into.
Yeah.
And so little time. So let's get the ball rolling. And of course, just take a brief break and then we'll be able to dive into this on the other side. But before I forget, we actually have guests coming through from where, Teresa?
Yeah, I was thinking you'd never get to that.
I was trying to keep my mouth.
Yeah, so we won't mention who the guests are, but we
Yes.
do have guests that are coming on the show from MPALI.
From MPALI, the famous MPALI.
The famous MPALI.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Who's your favorite in MPALI?
Nguzu.
Why Nguzu?
Why not Nguzu?
Yeah, it makes
There's-
it two of us,
there's-
because I want to be a junior Nguzu.
You have to have a good accent though.
No, I'm on my way to it.
That man speaks English like one of, you remember those old English teachers? Eh?
Yeah, when he's trembling like this.
But he's still making sense.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, that's what we'll be delving into. I get to have a sit down with some of the MPALI cast members, and we'll get to have a bit of a chit-chat.
Awesome. And for you, who's your favorite?
Nguzu. I've already told you that my ambition in life is to be a junior Nguzu.
I hope your wife is listening, but we move.
Anyway.
What? I don't know. The introductions are always fiery between the two of you. Last time it was the shower, and now, anyway, we'll take a brief break and we'll pick it up on the other side. Remember that VAR Zambia is powered by, of course, BetLion. And before we dive into I think something that we're looking forward to dive into, of course, our topic for today, which is how deep-rooted is match fixing in the Zambian football. Before Tingene deep, let's also dive into, of course, a few aspects to do with, of course, Power Dynamos winning the MTN Super League. And I'm so excited that, of course, we could be able to dive into this. And for me, I just like it when we have a new winner
Yeah.
each and every season. That way, it's not necessarily a farmers' league.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly. And kudos, to Oswald Mutapa, the coach.
That's right.
For Power Dynamos. A lot of pressure on him during the course of the season, by various, football fans who follow, Power Dynamos quite closely, asking for him to be sacked. But he had a wonderful run of about 15 games unbeaten that led, ultimately to, Power Dynamos winning their 8th title in their illustrious career. So, yeah, congratulations, to, Oswald Mutapa.
Kudos.
But also, if you look at the statistics, the highest scoring squad in the 2024-2025 season with 53 goals as of the end of match day 33 in, the MTN Fast Super League, the top division in Zambian football. So clearly, if you score goals, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that you've got a good chance of winning matches. And that's exactly what they've done. Also, at the back, keeping the back door shut, I think has been incredible. Only Zesco United, the team that is currently second and will finish in that position to represent us in the CAF Confederations Cup, has actually kept more clean sheets and kept, the opponents at bay in the majority of those matches. I think they've only leaked in 18 goals. So, yeah, kudos to them, but it shows that Power Dynamos were consistent and were doing the right things both in the offensive part of the of the team, but also in the defensive part too.
Very true. And for me, I also love the turnout of the fans on that particular day, how they flooded the whole stadium, and they were even dancing around and singing a very, very interesting song. And it's very interesting. I actually saw one of the fans with a national jersey. Then I was thinking, this is the only time this guy is actually going to celebrate. But anyway, before we dive into the Champions League, kudos indeed to the MTN Super League champions, and of course, I'm hoping that they will not dwindle like we did see with Musa, where one moment you're at the top, next moment you're halfway through the table. Lackluster performance. But let's also dive into the Absa Cup final preview as well. And of course, just a brief history in terms of that. From 2007, we saw that, of course, Zesco United has actually won it more times. Actually, they've won it 5 times from 2007, and of course, leading to the final itself. And of course, Red Arrows comes second with, of course, 2 wins as well. It's going to be very interesting to see how it also pans out this time around. What are your predictions?
Well, everybody's calling it the Benedict Chepeshi, final, because remember that the defending champions are Red Arrows. Their captain last season was Benedict Chepeshi.
Yes.
He's since moved on loan to Zesco United, and so people are calling it the Benedict Chepeshi final because of that Benedict Chepeshi effect, so to speak. So, but on a more serious note, I think, Zesco United have been quite consistent in terms of their league performances. They've also been quite good in the Absa Cup. So for me, I think in a one-off match, I think I'll probably think that Zesco United might have a little bit more in the tank, than Red Arrows. I'm tipping them to win this particular final. I don't know. You've just mentioned those statistics, 6 titles since, the introduction of the Absa Cup, obviously previously known as the Barclays Cup. So they seemingly have a way of getting the job done in the cup competition. So I don't know, I've just got a hunch feeling that, after losing out to Power Dynamos in the league, I think they'll use that as fuel and motivation, to get some sort of silverware, and in this case, the Absa Cup.
But we just have to carry the program. What am I supposed to do? The Champions League, you did talk about how, of course, the first game, let's begin with, of course, Barcelona versus Inter. To be honest with you, many people are calling it the best semi-final in UEFA Champions League history, alongside Liverpool in terms of the goals that we did also see. But in terms of performance, when you look at both teams over the 2 legs, you get to realize that it is difficult to even pick the standout performer, because there are so many individuals who are very, very brilliant. It's not just the likes of Yamal, but for me, I also just want to appreciate Lautaro Martinez, an individual who, for me, went under a lot of scrutiny, especially under the Argentina umbrella, because he missed a lot of chances, to be honest with you, in the World Cup. But he has proven himself over the years to say that he's an out-and-out great striker. We've also seen the likes of Araujo, at least over a period of time, also performing through. Of course, the likes of Robert Lewandowski would have performed so well, but due to injuries and whatnot. But in terms of a semi-final, I think one of the best we'll ever watch.
a huge spectacle for world football and European football, to be more precise, because the UEFA Champions League semi-final between these two sides didn't serve out just one great match, but two great matches. But kudos, I think, to FC Barcelona. I think they played their part in this particular encounter.
Sure.
Why do I say so? This is an Inter Milan side that has played 14 matches this season in the UEFA Champions League. 12 of those matches before playing Barcelona in the two semi-finals, they had conceded 4 goals. In the two semi-finals against Barcelona, they conceded 6 goals. That tells you about the immense firepower that FC Barcelona has at its disposal. And truth be told, this is a side that was absolutely in disarray when the season started. You know, administratively, financially, they're all over the place. They couldn't even register players like Dani Olmo on time to play a significant part over the first half of the season. So you could clearly see that, you know, this side, there's a lot of problems off the pitch that are affecting the team on the pitch, because some of the players like Robert Lewandowski had to even volunteer to get a pay cut just to play for the love of the badge of FC Barcelona. So clearly you could see that there were a lot of issues affecting this side. But what I like about them is that they didn't allow those things that were happening off the field of play affect their performances on the field of play. If somebody would have told me that, you know, you're going to be in the semi-final of the Champions League, you're going to win the Copa del Rey, and you're going to be within touching distance of winning La Liga at the beginning of the season, considering what we were going through, I would have absolutely denied and killed you.
And you know, I love the fact that you've taken us back, because many people think, well, Barcelona is not the best of seasons, but when you look, you put it into context.
Yeah.
How they started, because at one point they are winning 2 games, next moment Real Madrid catches up, they go ahead. It was lackluster, especially in the league as well. Yeah. So to be honest with you, I think Flick has also done a very, very tremendous job. Kudos to him. And I think also what killed Barcelona is the tiki-taka, because in one moment you are 3 goals to 2 up, and there are a few minutes, just park the bus. Why are you going to have 3v3? That didn't make sense.
To you, it doesn't make sense, but for me, it makes absolute sense. Because
Champions League final,
let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I think the purest of those who support Barcelona will agree with me that Barcelona knows only one way to play football.
You are winning.
That is exactly.
Almost 90 minutes.
Exactly.
All you have to do is wait for 6 minutes to get into the Champions League final.
The truth of the matter is
and you want to press.
The truth of the matter. The other day we were talking about philosophies. That's the philosophy of Barcelona. So you can't stop loving Barcelona because they didn't play according to what you think they're supposed to play.
But isn't that also the context of experience? Because if you've got experience, take Lamine Yamal taking the ball and shooting. Why not take it to the flank?
Have you ever seen Barcelona do such things?
If you want to win trophies, at least at this level, sometimes you have to play dirty.
So now, let me give you a practical example. 9 times out of 10, that same system or philosophy gets you trophies.
We also have to dive into, of course, our topic of discussion.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to be very interesting as we dive into the conversation with Nchimunya Mweetwa. Of course, to be able to dive into the topic, which is, of course, match fixing. How deep is it? How deep rooted is it in Zambian football? And of course, Nchimunya Mweetwa, the founder of Nchimunya Mweetwa Sports Foundation, right on the other side. And also look out to also dive into that aspect of the MPALI conversation, because we have got guests coming through from MPALI. I can't wait to dive into the conversation with the superstar.
Thank you very much for staying with us on VAR Zambia, and today we are privileged to be discussing a cancer that has eroded our football, and this is match fixing. And in this regard, our topic for discussion this week on VAR Zambia is how deep is match fixing in Zambian football. A privilege and honor to have a man on set who has unfortunately gone through the vigors of match fixing when he was plying his trade in Finland. And of course, he's a former Zambian international striker who joins me on set, Nchimunya Mweetwa. Nchimunya, welcome to VAR Zambia.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, and thanks actually for asking to come and talk about this cancer.
Yeah, of course.
That we are trying to fight.
Yeah, we're trying to fight. Let's begin maybe from the onset. Many of our viewers out there might not know who Nchimunya Mweetwa is. Give us a little bit of a background so that they understand where you're coming from, what teams you're playing for, who inspired you to, become a footballer.
Yeah, so you want Nchimunya Mweetwa the footballer?
The footballer,
Or
yes.
you want Nchimunya Mweetwa
The footballer.
Okay, yeah, so I've grown up in Kabwata.
Yeah.
Up to 1996, then went to the Copper Belt, Ndola, with Zimandola. Yeah, and then I did my school both in Kabwata and Ndola. Went to Choma to complete my studies, and then complete my studies.
Yeah.
And then went back to Ndola, Ndola 1 year. 1 year went to Kitwe. Kitwe went back to Ndola, then went to Europe. Yeah, so that's just my journey, like the places I've lived in. Yeah, but I grew up in Kabwata, and you know Kabwata, it's not the Kabwata of old. Nowadays, where we used to play our chimpombwa, you know, the makeshift football.
On the streets.
On the streets. So our car parks in Kabwata, you know the flats, they had car parks.
Yeah.
So those car parks were like our
Football
our
pitches.
stadium. You
Yeah,
know?
I see.
So each flat had a car park, big car park. That's so that was your home ground.
Yeah.
So that's where I used to play my football from, and then also at Momoni Primary School. And then when it came to football, my classmates used to say that I was older than them. My classmates.
Okay.
So
Why is that?
I was a bit good.
I see.
Yeah. So from there, I got that, you know, where your friends are saying you're older than us. So
Yeah.
meaning they were telling me that I was good enough to play with the older boys. So I used to play with the older boys, and then my 2 elder brothers used to play chimpomba with me, and because they were older, but I used to feature in the older team.
Okay.
So my first inspiration, I'll be honest with you, were my brothers, my 2 elder brothers. My immediate elder brother played for what was called PSM Warriors a long time ago, and then went to play with Masha Chilemena's team Telesport.
Telesport, yes.
Then I used to see the likes of Kingsley Masabula at Bama grounds, Bama Momoni grounds. They share the likes of Vespa Janza. Yeah, and then my dad was the PTC team manager by then. I don't know if you remember PTC.
I remember the one that became Zamtel.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they had the team.
Yes, I
serious
remember.
team.
Yes.
So they went the lower divisions, and then they won promotion to the Super League. So my dad was the team manager, and he used to take me and my brothers to go and watch games at Imboela Stadium. So the bus of the team would take the team, and then the driver would come now to pick us. Okay. Yeah, the kids of the team manager.
Professionally, which teams did you play for in Zambia before you made your move to Europe?
So I played for, my first team was Kabebia in Choma.
Okay.
I played for Choma, but the clubs in Choma used to pick me and my other friends on a Friday to go and play in the Division 1 league because of our talent. So I played for Choma Rangers, but not with my name.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how it was.
Kampeshi.
Yeah, Kampeshi. Yeah, so then I played for Kabebia. I used to score goals. Then I played for Medical Stars back in Ndola, and went to Ndola United. Ndola United, they only played for about five months. Okay. Because I was scoring all the time. I was on the pitch. Yeah. So Kitwe United came calling. Calvarias came calling. I had so many clubs that came calling. But
offering,
yeah, Kitwe United, they came with a serious entourage. Ponga Liwewe, no, Ponga was not there. So the other director, Nshimbi, the late Zimba used to be the team manager. And then Beston Chambesh was the assistant coach. Yeah. And another business tycoon in Kitwe. So they came. I was coming from Warriors. I was in Warriors for about a week. Yeah. So when I got home, I found serious cars outside, parked at my dad's place. So I was like, what's happening? We're having another meeting, because Dad used to be one of serious people in our country.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was these official visits.
Yeah.
So that's how I got inside, and then I found them, spoke to me. They had already convinced my dad. So my dad, people knew how my dad used to think about my life, especially when it comes to education. So I went to school, and then whoever approached him to want to lure me and join their team, he would say, as long as you are going to pay for his school fees, we are okay with it.
Okay.
So many teams that approached him failed to convince him, because they would say, we are going to be giving him like a bag of meal, 25 kgs and stuff. So Dad would say, but I provide
those things, yeah.
So, but they convinced my dad, and I saw Nchimbi receiving a call from, first it was gift Kampamba.
Yes.
The time was in Russia. So I could hear the conversation. Then I was like, these are serious guys. They're talking to Gift Kumalo, you know, we used to call him Kumalo. True. So that's how I was convinced. That right there and then in the night, they picked me, went to Kitwe. And that year, I got injured. I hurt my knee, but I came back, and then we went the second round with Kitwe United that season, undefeated.
Okay.
We even won the BP Top 8 championship. Yeah, good season for me. And then following season, I became one of the national team players.
Okay.
Played for Chipolo Polo, serious Chipolo Polo. Yeah. So, but I scored some goals for Chipolo Polo in the friendlies, and went on also to play for the World Cup, Africa Cup qualifying games, which I also scored. And on record, it's that I scored a hat-trick in Liberia. But actually, I know that I scored the brace.
Okay.
Yeah, but the media reported that I scored the...
I remember that was the qualifying series where I think Kalusha scored against Liberia.
Kalusha scored,
against Liberia here in Zambia.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward and look at how your move to Europe, particularly Finland, how did it come about? Walk us through the journey of how you transited from now being a player playing in the Super League here and now played for Ropes in Finland.
Yeah, so after Quito United, Zesco United came calling. Yeah. So I went to play for Zesco United, and then Zesco United had the likes of Joe Chilufya, Dabi Chilufya. They're not related.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then Joe Chilufya left, went back to Finland. So when he was in Finland, they asked him for a striker. They really wanted a striker who could score goals. And the description of the striker they wanted, Joe just said, I know that guy. So that's how he called me. Mwache, barakutumina phone, so. Abasungu. Yeah, no pressure. So I said that it was okay, and then I received a call from Zetsalet, because Zetsalet was also in Finland. And Zetsalet, by the way,
he's a legend of that club.
Yes. By the way, Zetsalet was my dad's player. He used to play for PT Sisters back in the days. That time when we'd go and watch, the guy who used to score the tumbles. So the bicycle kicks. So that's how I received a call, and then I was very sick. I was bedridden that time. I had malaria. But when I got a call, you know, where I was telling Zed, so then I did the visa issues. Then I went there for 3 weeks trial. So I went whilst I was sick. And then getting there also, the code, trying to adapt, it was very hard for me the first 3 weeks. I failed the trials, honestly speaking. I failed the trials. But the president of the club is the one who said...
he believed in you.
Yeah, he said, you know, 14 years ago, ZZ8 came here. What I saw in ZZ8 14 years ago, I've seen it in you. Yes, you failed. The coaches have submitted the reports and everything, but I'm going to sign you. I'll take a risk. So that's how I was imposed on the coaches. It was very difficult for me to adapt, honestly, because you know where you want to hit the ball when it is -1
degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
My foot, my toes were like hard, you know, and they were paining because of the cold. So I couldn't hit the ball. So it was very difficult for me. But I managed to adapt late, yeah, because I felt the trials. So when I adapted, the coaches, I thank those coaches, because when I was imposed, yes, it was very difficult for them to work with me, but they said I was lacking something, especially my left leg wasn't that good. So they started working on my left leg for a long time. I would wake up in the morning at 5, go on the pitch with the coach, just to train on my left leg. And then
you navigated all those challenges.
Yeah, it was tough.
Your first season, I think you scored 17 goals, if my research is correct. You have a record of 12 games, and in those 12 games you scored.
It was 13.
13
I don't know why they
consistently.
write 12,
Yeah.
but it was
13 games consecutively. Yeah. So you still hold that record.
Yes,
but
joint record holder.
yeah, but tell us, at what point, everything at that particular moment was going well for you in Finland. You have navigated all those challenges, and now you're scoring for fun, literally. How did the match fixers approach you? I mean,
yeah, so you know, the time I was scoring, when I adapted, and then scoring is an art.
Yeah.
And once you master the art, it's very easy to score every game.
Yeah.
Look at Mbesuma, look at Yuka, Kalusha.
Yeah.
So it's very, even Christopher, it's very easy when you get your groove.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was scoring those goals, I'm a coach now. We like to say and tell our players that when you are playing, there are people who are watching you. You never know who's watching you. Maybe there's Bill Gates.
True.
There's Carlo Ancelotti. So when I was playing, scoring goals, the match fixers also, they were watching.
They were watching.
And they were happy with how I was working, and they were trying to find ways and means on how to approach me so that they can recruit me. So they now approached me by saying, we really like the way you play. Like it is here where fans, they would come, so that's how it was. And for close to 2 years, so they would come after the game, give me 10,000 to 30,000 euros.
Okay.
Do you know how much 30,000 euros is?
It's giving me a sign here on my calculator.
It's easy. As we are accustomed to the dollar, you know, because 10,000 today, you're talking of 270,000.
Yeah.
But it was euros. Euros is more
slightly
stronger than the dollar. Yeah. So it was like that for a series of close to 2 years. So they would give me sums like that. So what they were trying to do that time was grooming me. Actually, they were grooming me for the D-Day, for the wedding day. Like ufuna kagero, little pizza, my little flower,
softening.
Yes. Until will you marry me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually they asked me to play in a match which I was not supposed to score.
Do you remember your opponents? Which match was that? No, you can't off the top of your head.
To my ass don't ball. Yeah, so
they asked you not to score in that game.
Yeah, and I remember we lost 4-0.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost 4-0, but backs.
Okay.
Yeah, they gave me good backs.
How much did they give you? For that particular match, after obviously my 10p me to my 30p.
To that.
So now the D-Day, the day of the marriage comes. Yeah. So how much did they offer you?
It was close to 50, 60,000. Yeah. Anyway, a guy, don't just score. And then unfortunately we lost that game 4-0.
How many matches did you fix in total? Off the top of your head, maybe an approximation.
Almost 3 seasons,
Oh.
3 to 5 seasons.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So uncountable.
Uncountable.
So, but there were other games where we would receive money, and then the game doesn't go as planned, so you'd return the money.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when we got relegated in 2009, we actually, I told the fixers that I wanted to get back to the Premier League. So the only way to get back to the Premier League was winning. So if they were going to offer me money, that money was supposed to be for winning. And they said, it's okay. As long as you are playing, we'll still be giving you money, but you have to make sure that if we give you a condition like to play for a match, that you have to score 4 goals, you have to deliver. So that's how I ended up playing in those matches that season, 2010, and we won promotion. My club won promotion, so went back to the Premier League. Yeah, so it wasn't just for losing, but it was also for winning, which everyone wants to win when it comes to competition.
The way you're explaining it, it sounds like you had a very good working relationship with the fixers. At that particular moment, there are no problems.
Yeah.
How did it move from that cordial relationship that you shared with him to a point whereby they started threatening your parents, for instance, showing you pictures, you know, threatening your family that you had there? You were a young man, obviously you had young kids and your wife there. How did that relationship, you know, move from there and then suddenly soured? Where did it go wrong?
So it wasn't just one fixer who was coming to me. Different fixers around the globe that would come, because now it was a match fixing hub, you know, where the monies in Scandinavian countries are not like in England.
Yeah.
So if you are getting a salary of $10,000 and then a fixer comes with a 50 pin, obviously you are going to think twice. Yeah, so there came a time when you know, you started thinking that, is this right, you know? And then questions, I remember my mother once asked me that, Sonny, how come you've got friends all over Europe? Yeah, because sometimes you'd say, no, I'm meeting this guy from this country, he's going to send money, stuff like that. How come? You know, so when my mother asked me that, you know, mothers, that's sixth sense.
They've got intuition, yes.
Yeah, their intuition. So I was like, is this right? Is this correct? Plus the values that I was inculcated by my parents. Yeah, so when I decided to say that, no, I think I can't do this anymore. Yeah. So that's why now the threatening came in, that no, once you are in this marriage, there's no so that's when now I started seeing the threats, being offered money. You try to refuse.
These are well-connected people, because I'm wondering, in 2009, 10, somewhere there, cell phones with cameras were not very, readily available for everybody, quite expensive at that particular time. And you're in Europe, your mother and your father are here in Zambia.
Yeah.
How did they manage to get photos of them?
I've got no idea. I've got no idea. You know, they're connected. These are what we call mafias, like the Russian movie. We're watching the Russian movie. So these people, they are not good people. They are mafias, and all they think of is their gain. So I was a pawn they were using to gain
financial wealth.
Yeah. So they don't care about you. So all they need from you is just to deliver. So it was so tough, and you know, where they are showing you videos of your family, showing you videos of other people who they mishandled.
Okay.
Yeah, mishandled in a bad way. So
Anybody killed who has worked with? Has anybody been killed in those videos that apparently?
I've seen bad things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. But I've really seen bad things, and that's why you see me coming here to talk about this, because it is bad. It is bad, and you risk your life, your career, your family's life. So, yeah, and then
how did you get out of this marriage? Because you're here to tell the story.
I was arrested. So that was
the get out of jail card.
The divorce certificate was me being behind bars. Yeah. So that's what happened, and then.
How did they arrest you? I mean,
I was arrested on the pitch.
So law enforcers come to the pitch and they arrest you.
Vama biceps is one. You know Mr. Zambian. Have you seen his biceps?
I've seen it.
Yeah. So that's how the cops came. My guy. Those cops, you just see his bicep and you're like, I'll tell you everything. Yeah, but I've not asked you a question, you know what I mean? Yeah, so.
Were any of the other Zambians who were arrested alongside you also playing for Ropes at that particular time, or other teams?
I prefer to just talk about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to establish is
I know.
What I'm trying to establish is whether you are arrested with other Zambians who were playing for Ropes at that particular time, or they were playing for other teams. I'm not going to mention their names.
No, I was arrested.
Okay.
Alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're seeing now the introduction and the mushrooming of many sports betting companies. I, for once, have seen players, for instance, from a certain club, and sports betting companies have got matches involving these players playing in those teams, and they go and place a bet.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered such as you go around? I mean,
Yeah,
literally a player who plays for a certain club goes and bets against his own club.
There's a boy who won 2 point something million. Yeah, a football player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so like for him, I would say it's. I don't know if he was made aware that he's not supposed to bet. So when you're an athlete, you're not allowed to bet, to place any bet. The betting companies, we should not forget, is that they're business. They're business, they need to make profits. But us, the sports people, what are we doing in trying to regulate? To protect our athletes from it. So we are in the process of legislation, and then we're also in the process of regulating our sports when it comes to betting. So we are having conversations, yes, with the betting companies where we need to make sure that there is the intelligence part of it, of monitoring. Who's betting, if it's an athlete in this case. And so as long as you're into sport, you're running a club, you're the president, or things like that, you are not allowed to bet.
As we come to the end of this interaction, what is your advice to a young player out there who might be watching us now, is being approached by potential match fixers to fix a match, and they're putting him under enormous pressure, and he's probably even one of the breadwinners at such a tender age in the family. And there's an offer of so much money on the table to lose a match. What is your advice to that young player out there? And then also, where can young players get access to you in terms of your physical address as an organization, and probably your socials as well?
Yeah, so the easiest way is to first contact me on my social media platforms. They're all over. Just Google my name, or search my name, Nchimunya Mweetwa. Actually, on Facebook, I'm Abishai, my given name, and then Nchimunya Mweetwa.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can report anonymously, and then if not, you can still go to the National Olympic Committee of Zambia.
Okay.
There's the anonymous reporting there, and then there's also a safeguarding officer there. You can report, and all reports are confidential.
Okay.
Yeah, so everyone must know that they will be protected.
Yeah.
And then the advice, professionally, actually, I would tell you that there are consequences. In everything that one is going to do, there are consequences. And the consequences of match fixing are jail term. You'll be arrested, and then also you'll be banned by FIFA. And unfortunately now, it's that you can be banned for life. You can be banned for life, looking at the gravity of the match fixing incident that you've found yourself in. So, and I know there are dilemmas. Honestly, I've had encounters where someone has got his grandmother bedridden, and then he needs to pay for the medical bills, and then he's got nothing. And then there's this offer of good monies, and then I've had such dilemmas, and then obviously I still have to give the professional side of me, the professional advice, and then just to say, you know what, at the end of the day, it's your personal decision, but just know that there are consequences. Yeah, so that's the advice I would give, that there's no shortcut to success. Yeah, and unfortunately is that the road to success is always under construction. Yeah.
Nchimunya Mweetwa, thanks for sharing
man.
your story.
No, it's good. I'm always here whenever you want me. To fix matches, call me. I'll make sure I'll fix your head, not the match.
That was Nchimunya Mweetwa, former Polo striker, and of course a man shedding more light, sharing his story about match fixing and the depth of match fixing in Zambian football. Let's take a break on VAR Zambia. On the other side, we continue with the show.
So we did mention earlier on at the beginning of the show that we'll be chit-chatting with cast members from MPALI. We didn't want to spoil the surprise, so we just hinted who it is you did not know. But now you get to know, because the cat is officially out of the bag. And I just realized that both of my guests' names start with the letter J. That's how random I am. So joining me did you guys know that? Both your names start with J?
Of course.
Like, duh.
Actually having a conversation about our names. Actually going to form a company.
J Squid.
Yeah.
Love it. Like, duh. J Squid. It just hit me now. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, wait, both their names start with J.
Yeah.
So joining me on the set of VAR Zambia today is Judith and Jaydin. I'm sure you've seen them on your screens, as seen on TV, as seen on telly. Welcome to VAR Zambia, Jaydin, and welcome, Judith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
How y'all doing?
Oh, we're good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you doing,
Good,
Judith?
thank you. It's been a crazy day, but yeah.
But
good.
you're here now.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. So a lot of people know you from MPALI. MPALI is I was about to say MPALI is like Hungry Lion, but I do want to give them free advertising.
But you've said it.
Yeah, but I said it. It's one of those things that's a household thing. You know, it's a household thing. Every home watches and loves MPALI, and we get to see you on our TV screens. Let's talk about acting before we go any further. Prior to MPALI and you getting on MPALI, I just want to find out from the both of you, how did you get into the acting space? Yeah.
Okay. So for me, acting is not something that I thought of doing. I think it started as just a by the way. Somebody believed in me and said, no, you can act. But initially, I went to school and pursued a Bachelor of Arts degree in mass communication and journalism. So I'm a journalist by profession. And then along the way, came across someone who said, you know what, I think you can make a good actress. So that is how my journey started. And from there, I featured in a Trade Kings Boom commercial, and then other things went on, and then I found myself in the film industry.
Okay, so what was your first acting role?
My first acting role was I played in I think that was is it Game 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Game 2.
Game
Yeah,
2.
Game 2.
Yes,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
my
yeah.
first acting role. And then from there, I was taken into MPALI as Monica, which is
Great.
what, of course, most of the people out there know me for.
Yeah. Do you ever walk around, before I get to you, Jaydin, do you ever walk around and like you're in a mall and, hey, Monica? Do you ever get that?
A lot, actually.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. What's your real name? I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, no, it's fine. It's okay. I'm used.
Yeah.
But I do get that a lot because a lot
Yeah.
of people call me Monica, and so it's a name I've accepted.
You've
So
embraced
I've
it.
embraced it. Yes, so when I'm out there, I accept being called Monica.
That's something I want us to talk about as our conversation unfolds. I want us to talk about the separation between your on-screen character and you as a person, you as Judith. But we'll get to that. Let's talk about how you got onto the acting scene.
Okay, so basically
genesis,
it's
the beginning.
The genesis.
Yeah.
I think I started from way back in school, and I think church.
Yeah.
So I think grandma was the one actually every time pushing me, go and join Sunday school,
Yeah.
No, go and join the kids and stuff
Christmas
like that. Yeah,
plays,
yeah, all those.
Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From there, then I started writing actually for the same group at church and school. Then from there, I stopped at some point because we started, those days where we had difficult and Bikilon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we used to do a lot of that at church.
Okay.
Then at some point, I think people started, like, they are not taking you seriously. So, like, you go to church and everyone wants to, you're in your different world and someone wants to do the same comedy
It
stuff.
comes
And
back
that.
to the
So I was like,
separation.
I can't do this anymore. Then I stopped.
Yeah.
So I stopped after some time. Then that was like in the southern province.
Okay.
That's where I did my high school. So from there, I came back home. Then I met this woman. She knew me back from
Way
southern
back
province.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like knowing me as, I saw you somewhere, you were acting, because
Yeah.
there was this organization that got me somewhere to go and act. So after we met, she had this short film that they wanted to do. It was about HIV and AIDS and stuff like that. She says, no, I want you. So I go, but I stopped. He says, no, I want you. We are
She
going
was
to start.
persistent.
Yeah, we are going to start. And that's
Yeah.
how I joined. We did that movie, actually. I think she's in the UK now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she took it there. So we...
When was this?
I'm not really good with...
The day.
Yes.
No, just the year. Do you remember the year?
That was like 2013.
Oh wow, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2013, somewhere there. But I wasn't really good that,
Yeah.
looking at what I can do now.
Yeah.
I think, and I look at that, I'm like, what did she see? This,
So that's how it started.
It started like that. Then from there, then I met Alista Sibuku. He's late.
Yeah.
He's so rest in peace. Yeah. That's how I was casted for Mushala,
Okay.
movie TV.
Yeah.
So I joined the guys. There's a character that I was doing there, one of the soldiers when you're doing Mushala.
Okay.
I started from there. Started writing for him because I can also write.
Yeah.
I started writing for him. It's the time we actually met.
Okay.
Yeah.
J
so-
squared. Yeah.
So from there, yeah, we started doing other programs, movies, and that's how I joined MPALI. Then from there, I think started
Okay.
shooting. Then
Hold up. Let's
yeah.
talk. Let's get to MPALI now. I
Yeah.
did mention at the beginning that MPALI is a household. It's a household, lovable
Yeah.
in Zambia, not just in Lusaka, the whole country. We love MPALI. How did you get to being casted on MPALI? And what was that like? Because you started off with something small,
Yeah.
she started off with a commercial, and then suddenly you land this role on this household favorite telenovela or soapy, if you may. How did that come about and how did it feel?
Okay, so it was actually through Mr. Sibu.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were looking for this character, someone who can be I'm a crook there, thug kind of.
Okay.
Kind of character.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said, we needed someone who is smart, but a crooked guy, kind
Yeah.
of, yeah. So that's how he said, no, you're going to play it.
Okay.
I think he saw something. I don't know what I was doing because at that time it's like I'm working this other side, but I'm a hustler somewhere in town.
Yeah.
So you know, I've been running other businesses, and he says,
99
"No,
jobs.
yeah, so you can do it."
Yeah.
So that's how I was like, "Okay, I can do it. Go and try it." And that's how it started. Just there, it was born.
And that's how you got onto MPALI.
I got to MPALI. Then from there, I think that's now I think he discovered that I also have an eye for talent.
So that's how. Okay, we'll get to the casting. We'll get to the casting. Hold your horses.
Okay.
So how did you find yourself on Zambia's favorite telenovela?
Okay. I mean, just like Jaydin here, I was
Yeah.
told, oh, we're looking for a character to play Monica, and I was asked, do you think you can pull it off? The manager said, oh yeah, I can try it out, and so that is how.
The rest is history.
Rest is history. Yeah, went there. Of course, you know, you get on set and you're meeting people that are already there.
Yeah.
They've been there for some time.
Yeah.
There's all those challenges that you get. Sometimes you feel like, I think you're not doing the best.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, I mean, you're on set and you have maybe the director at some points maybe gets angry. But I think you're not doing the, and then at some point you start feeling like, maybe I'm in the wrong place. Maybe this is not for me. But I'm a person that believes in fighting and achieving what has been given to me. If you give me this, you give me something and say, I want you to do this. I try and put in my best and work hard. And I told myself, I said, you know what, I can do it. And so I managed to settle in, a few challenges here and there, but I did eventually just settle in and become one of the loved characters.
Absolutely lovely. Let's talk about, I'm glad that you spoke about your character, because Monica is simply a fictional character. Unfortunately, people struggle to separate an on-screen character and an off-screen character. You spoke about being a crook and you'd be walking through a mall and people are like, hey, kawalala. And people calling you Monica when you're walking through wherever, mall, whatever, driving somewhere. Oh, there's Monica. Do people struggle to separate actors from, them as a person? And how does that make you feel? Does it ever get to you?
It doesn't really get to me. I understand that when people are watching, when they're watching MPALI, what they see is something that mostly they relate to. So, when you're watching something that you can relate to, you take it so personal. So when I go out there, and then they will just start telling me, I'll just laugh about it, like, because I understand. Things like that. I get all those things. Even now I'll be told, as a ghost. So I'm used. I just understand to say that it's fine. They're in it, so they take it personally. They take it as part of their life.
Walking through a mall, kawalala. Does it ever get to you?
I'm telling you, just like she was explaining, but it's just that where you get to understand to say, okay, I know MPALI is like we've created a world. So these people, it's like that's what they know about you. So they expect you. I've entered Mushop Wakam, but it's a joke, but it's getting to you. It's like, okay, I think they've known me. Actually, so we just laugh about it. We just laugh about it. Say, this one bueno, that joke I'm on a phone, just like that.
And you keep it moving.
Yeah, you keep it moving. But it's I've had an incident where I'm in town. There's a time that we attacked the farm, Nguzu farm, with Wena Frankie. So it's like, these people where they love Nguzu, they love Manida, and it's bad because they were actually insulting us. They took
it
personal, like,
and that's where it becomes a problem.
Shine insults like that. So like, actually he shared it with Sibuke. He says, you guys who are doing this villain character, you should be careful. People get it, like they take it so personal because that's what they see. And they get into it where they don't want to see anything outside that world.
Emotions involved.
Everything is there.
Reminds me of the time when I joined MPALI because of how I went in. So I go in as Monida's best friend and their husband's, the one she was getting married to, the husband's ex. And then at some point I found myself in their home. And then the hatred I got out there was,
Yeah.
I know.
It was personal.
Yes. You want to mess up your friend's marriage.
So even that didn't get to you?
At
A
some
little.
point it did.
It did.
It did because
But especially if you're going through the social media like that, you know, it's
not
hard.
because they don't like your acting, but because they're just taking, you know, the
You're actually
forget
good
it's
at it,
fictional.
so you've
Yes.
gotten to them.
Yes,
because
you've gotten to them.
you're doing with
You're messing with their
everything.
emotions.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just
So
hate you. They would hate you for it. Like, and then you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then
You're actually doing the
because they're
good thing
hating
there.
you, so you're getting
Yeah.
to them. Yeah, but eventually, as the story unfolded and whatnot,
Start
people
warming
started
up.
falling in love with me, and yeah.
All right. So if you're a creative, I've never met a creative who's one-dimensional, who just does this one thing. Creatives have got 99 jobs. We're multi-dimensional. There's so much that we do. And you were about to get into how you got into casting. So let's talk about off-screen. I know that people just know your on-screen characters, but there's a whole different ballgame behind the scenes. So let's talk about some of that. I know you're into influencing. We'll get to that. Let's talk about casting. You spoke about writing. You're into writing as well, and casting. So how did you start with the writing and the casting?
So the writing, I'll start with the writing. I think it's just something that has been in me from way back in school. Yeah. So, you know, you don't really have like schools where you can go and do this. So mostly I would just say it's workshops where you get to be connected. This producer knows you and stuff. Well, we're having a workshop where you get to be trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the people that invited me to learn and advance on my writing was Yoweri.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the executive producer for Tentamanga.
Okay.
So I learned some of the things, how to go about it. Then from there, I joined A-List with Frank. Then like you get to learn every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's every day you have to put in. Every day you're working every day until. Yeah, I've written some of the projects. I think I've done some short movies or so.
Nice.
Yeah. Then from there, you said I should go into also casting.
Yeah. How did you get into casting?
Yeah,
Because you are a casting director.
So it
as
was
well.
that, yeah, it's the time that I was meeting up with Siboko. So that's the time, like, you know, where you want to do, there's a project that you want to work on. It's like, who do you think you can put here? No, I think this character. And this character comes and they put in their best, you know. You're like, oh, okay, how about this character? I think this character, the way I understand it, I think it should be this one.
Yeah.
So after that, he was like, okay, actually I need someone who can help me somewhere. MPALI.
Yeah.
I need someone who can help me with this, where, you know, the casting, because he was doing it all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he said, no, I think I need to rest. So
Okay.
yeah, I think I'll give it to you. And that's how it started.
Okay.
So I started and I've discovered some of the characters that you see.
You've got a good eye for talent.
Yeah.
Lovely. Influencing, what else is in that bag? What else do you get up to aside from Monica?
Okay, so I do a lot of charity work.
Nice.
I love to help, go to orphanages and just, you know, donate, visit, and, you know, chat and have a good time with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. Of course, brand influencing.
Yeah.
And on the background, working on my own projects, which of course maybe in future you'll get to see.
Yeah.
Of course, when we
J squared.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. It's actually on the way.
We're
Yeah.
working on
Almost
something.
done.
Yeah, so pretty much that's it.
Okay, so there's something I want us to touch base on. You're both creatives. There's a lot of emphasis that comes to study hard, you know, education is the key to success, yada, yada, yada. But now we're living in an era where the creatives are flourishing.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to a parent who's listening, or to anybody, a youngster, an adult who's listening, and they want to get into what you are into? They want to start acting, because people complain. This is another thing. They see the same faces in all of these. I'm sure you've heard this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we need to open up the industry. It's always the same faces. How can you advise someone who's watching right now and thinking, I want to be where Jayden is, I want to be where Judith is, I want to be an actor, the next big face in entertainment?
You know, I think for me, it's just, if you know you have it, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just know that you have it, just do it. Because I've seen, there's a funny thing. I've seen some of the characters that you see on our show. If I'm to tell you where I found them, you can laugh. There are people that we just go on TikTok and say, we have this one.
Yeah.
Actually, come, I think you're good.
Yeah.
We've seen them maybe on YouTube. They're just trying.
Yeah.
Maybe on social media, let me say Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see someone just showing those to my kids and stuff like that. And I'm like, I think this person you contact them to say, can you act here? Are you willing to do it? And you see them on that show doing very well.
Yeah.
You see, so if you have it, just do it. It doesn't matter which platform you're going to use. You know, when you're good,
Use
you're
what
good,
you
and people
have.
will use what you have.
Yeah.
These same phones, they are making magic.
Yeah.
Just the phone. You don't have to, I need a big camera for me to be recognized out there. No, just your phone. Work with it. I've got a funny story.
Yeah.
The time I was starting acting, so this is where I stopped work at some point.
Okay.
So I was working somewhere.
Okay.
Then I stopped. So I was like, no, I'm getting into acting. The time I was shooting Mosha at movie TV.
Yeah.
So this is where you go, you're back, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
No, the movie is out, but you don't have anything.
You have nothing to show for it.
You know what I did?
Yeah.
The other time I'm called to say, I'm supposed to go and shoot somewhere else. I did a piece work somewhere.
Okay.
Then that man, I went back and said, when is the end of shooting?
But
One part-time. Because it was like, Malabishi. Every time you just want to be more shooting my movies. Unaona ma Zambian Shanshan movies going anywhere, you know, just like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I know what I want, but these people, you know, but I understand them as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to protect myself, but now, Mom, she's the one who goes, something like that.
Yeah.
Because she's proud now. My neighbors, everyone say, I saw Jay.
Yeah, I saw your
one
son
on
on TV.
And she's, yes, no,
Oh,
she's just
beautiful.
there, you know, and I'm like, you remember?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You know, as you're talking, there's a song, I'm thinking of that song by J-Rocks. Active music, give you
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
and that's the mentality that a lot of parents have when it comes to the creative industry and the arts. What's your advice to parents that, you know, are watching this right now and they feel like there's no future in this?
Okay, my advice is that I know times are different now compared to years back when we told me if you want to become a musician, we're like, music.
Yeah.
No, once you become a doctor, you have maybe a father who's maybe a doctor and they want their child to become a doctor, but it doesn't really work like that all the time. And so my advice is that let us, to the parents, let us, you know, support our children, identify their talents. I'm going to give an example of my daughter, of course. Allow me to give an example
Okay.
of my daughter. When we discovered that, you know, she's got a talent for golf, and we embraced it and, you know, gave her the support.
Yeah.
And today, where is she? I mean, she's trending.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is. She's trending, and so it's about giving support.
Yeah.
We have, I mean, big footballers who are making money.
Yeah.
You know,
Of talent, yeah.
of talent. Artists who are making money off talent, musicians who are making money off talent. We should not only just, you know, limit the kids to, no, I want you to become a doctor. I feel like you need to allow somebody to do what they are passionate about. You know, allow them to do what they're passionate about. But of course, I always encourage to say, fine. If Judy gets up and says she'll go into acting, let her go into acting. She's passionate about it.
Yeah.
She's good at it.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, everything, we all start small. You never know where she's going to find herself, you know, in future.
Yes.
But of course, I always say then these other talents will come in to supplement on, you know, once you identify that one thing that you are good at, you perfect your craft in that area, then the rest can come and, you know, supplement. I always encourage the young girls. I'm one of the young women lead alumni.
Okay.
So when I have these speaking engagements, I always encourage the young women to identify what they want to do, once you identify what you want to do, who you want to be in life, of
Yeah.
course, now we are talking about branding.
Yeah.
Once you've identified who you want to be in life,
Yeah.
you brand yourself because that is what you want people to know you for.
Yeah.
Because when you work at it and perfect the craft, you never know where you find yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of one.
Because of
platform.
one platform.
Yeah.
But we should not limit ourselves. We should allow the kids to think outside the box.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about, as we wrap up, let's talk about what we can expect from you 2025. We've only just wrapped up the first quarter, so we've got, 2025 ahead of us. What can we expect from Judith for the rest of the year?
Okay, so Judith is working on a few projects in the background, and of course is almost done with her book. I'm writing a book, almost done with it. So it should be out anytime soon, a few months from now. And of course, I just launched a foundation that is, of course, not looking at, donating stuff to the kids' orphanages, but we're also looking at a mentorship program.
Is that the cap you're wearing?
Yeah.
There we go. Can we, cameraman, can we zoom in on that? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so we're calling it, so it's called, foundation is called My Tomorrow.
Okay.
So at My Tomorrow, we're saying My Tomorrow starts with you, because we're saying it's not going to start with me alone, but with everybody else together. Community. So if you have kids who are saying, you have a young girl who is saying My Tomorrow starts with you. They are telling you to say, they're telling Jayden to say, as a child, I cannot do this on my own, but I need you to come in and help me. So that is why we're saying My Tomorrow starts with you.
Nice.
So we're not only looking at, giving them stuff and we leave, identifying different
You're teaching them how to fish.
Teaching them how to fish. So when I go to orphanages, identify different talents. Who wants to be a doctor? Who wants to be a musician? Who wants to be an actor? Does that actor need a mentor? Is there somebody they look up to? Fine, we're gonna get
Connect
Jayden. Jayden, here is this child. Can you please
Nurture.
nurture this child?
Yeah.
Because I feel kids nowadays do need somebody to be there for them. They need the support.
Yeah.
They need the mentorship.
Yeah.
Which is what we never used to get years back. But now you need someone. If you look up to someone, we'll be able to connect you to this person. So for me, my focus is the mentorship aspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And, yeah.
2025. Go alala.
Work.
Work. Yeah.
We're just here to entertain the world. We are entertaining Zed.
Yeah.
We want to put Zed on the map.
Yeah.
With whatever we got. Kuchalo,
Yeah.
movies are coming. There are projects that we're working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Entertainment.
All right.
In those areas.
Okay.
Movie industry.
Beautiful. I look forward to it. Well, thank you so much, J Squared.
Yeah.
Has this been a thing, or did I just give you this name, J Squared? It's got a nice ring to it, J Squared.
It's okay.
You know what? I want to find out if I should get Kakat Filia.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she gave us the name.
For that one.
I don't know. I like the way it sounds. But thank you so much, Judith. Thank you so much, Jayden.
We need an agreement you sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I want to find out.
Yeah.
Kakati.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a page and call it J School.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the very best. The year has only just begun. So much unfolding for the both of you. Thank you so much for joining us on VAR Zambia.
Thank you.
So much. It's been a pleasure being here.
Alrighty.
Really nice.
Great stuff.
You.
Beautiful stuff. There you have it. So much to talk about, so little time. This has been right here on VAR Zambia.
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Like they say, we've been able to dive into so many interviews and also dive into a number of aspects to the Champions League. Our topic, of course, a topic of discussion, how deep-rooted is match fixing in Zambian football. Before I can get Chips' concluding remarks, I'll get to Teresa in terms of how it was with the MPALI guest.
It was absolutely enlightening, John. Listen, every conversation that I get to have, every sit down I get to have on VAR Zambia is it's eye-opening. There's always something to learn. Learning is an ongoing, never-ending process. And I just love that the the arts are being promoted. I just love that we get to encourage, you know, somebody at home who wants to delve into something that we're talking about every single week. So hopefully somebody who wants to delve into acting has, you know, gotten some inspiration.
Indeed. Well said.
Yeah.
Chips?
Well, the aspect of, you know, match fixing is something very, very serious in our football, and Nchimunya nailed it. You know, when he spoke about, you know, that time in Finland when, you know, the match fixers themselves started showing him photos of his family here in Zambia and threatening, using those pictures to say that if you don't throw this particular match, we're going to harm your family, basically. So that really caught my attention, that it's not just about the game itself. You know, there are consequences and dangers surrounding match fixing, because the people who do these things, you know, are, you know, criminals, to put it bluntly. So for me, I think it's something that the authorities need to pay particular attention to. And considering that now we do have, you know, a number of sports betting companies that have, you know, mushroomed and come onto the scene, it has increased the amount of match fixing incidences that we're seeing in our football. So kudos to, you know, Nchimunya Mweetwa, a former Chipolopolo international, who's doing his part, you know, to educate, you know, the current players on how to avoid and navigate so that they don't catch themselves in this web called match fixing in the future.
Well said. And sometimes people tend to forget, the fans tend to forget that the soccer players are also human beings. The referees are human beings.
Yeah.
And there's also need to remember that football is not just a game for some. It involves their families and their relatives as well. And that must be addressed moving forward as well.
Yeah.
I think we've come to an end of today's edition. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you catch another edition of VAR Zambia next week, when we have different guests lined up just for you.